Okay, we're good. We're good.
We're on.
We're on. Okay, we're a little bit early this time. Actually, a little bit, like 30 minutes early.
Peter Woodcock.
20, yeah. We are doing David Michael Krusner, which is now Peter Woodcock.
He's a funky little fellow, too.
He looks like a little shit, don't he?
He does. He looks like you slap your mama.
Oh, yeah, look at that dude, man. Yeah, there's something up with him.
This is back in the 50s.
In the 50s?
Yeah.
Back in 1939, but he did it.
Well,
Let's see.
Back?
This is back, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
His crimes were from 1956, 1957, and 1991.
Serial killer, child
Yes.
rapist.
He was known by his birth name, Peter Woodcock. And he was a Canadian serial killer and a child rapist. He was diagnosed as a psychopath. And he gained notoriety.
Mind your business.
He gained notoriety for the murders. I'll make sure you're on the same page as me. I don't... Anyway, so he gained notoriety for the murders of the 3 young children in Toronto in the late 1950s. As well as for murder in 1991 on his first day of unsupervised release from the psychiatric institution, which he was incarcerated for his earlier crimes. You got to do something.
I don't know. I gotta be.
She's got Richard Woodcock and Peter Woodcock.
It's not hitting me good either. I got Dick Woodcock and I got Peter Woodcock.
I just want to say it. What to say it before.
Oh, my eyes are watering.
Oh my God.
It just dawned on me. I got a Dick Woodcock and then I got a Peter Woodcock.
I'm so sorry. She got the wrong one. She got Peter and Dick.
No.
Woodcock.
They're both Woodcocks. I got a Dick and a Peter.
Oh boy, this is okay.
I can't do this. Anyways, his name's David Michael Kruger. Oh.
He was an adopted child. Kruger lived in numerous foster homes. As an infant, he showed signs of emotional trauma. He was he found a permanent home at the age of 3. Unable to adjust to social situations, and he was always bullied. Wandered from his home by foot, bicycle, or train to parts of Toronto. Really? You wandered all that? Kruger would often molest dozens of children, ultimately murder 3. Found not guilty by reason of insanity, he was sent to a psychiatric facility where they experimented him in treatment programs. Wow. They were ineffective for him, and
yeah, but way back then, their idea of a psychic treatment was, you know the colors, this or that, and they're good.
Well, he murdered a fellow psychiatric patient in 1991.
Nowadays, they got a complete different valve.
After his death in 2010, he was described in the Toronto Star as a serial killer they couldn't cure. But, about his life, though. He was born in, get this, Peter Woodcock was born in Peterborough, Ontario. It's no wonder he's a serial killer.
It's full of dick.
This is the worst podcast. I'm so sorry, you guys. This is just. It's been a very long week, very long weekend, and very long day.
It's all the fresh air. Don't mind me.
He was born into a factory worker, to a 17-year-old factory worker, Juanita Woodcock, who gave him up for adoption after breastfeeding him for a month. That made her give him up for adoption.
It might have been. I don't know.
They report that the newborn showed numerous feeding problems and cried constantly. Maybe he was colicky.
Yeah, they didn't know that back then.
I don't know. He stayed in various foster homes, unable to bond with his foster parents. After his first birthday, he became terrified of anybody approaching him. His speech was incoherent. He was whiny, made animal noises. was physically abused by one of his foster parents, with a 2-year-old woodcock having to give medical treatment for an injured neck after receiving a beating. He was placed in a stable home at the age of 3. Frank and Susan Maynard. Upper class couple with another son. Susan described him as she was described as a forceful woman with an exaggerated sense of propriety. Let's see. She became attached to him and would still scream when someone approached him by the age of 5.
So she gave him the issue with the being.
Yeah, and he was still abused. I'm sorry, he was still a target of bullies. They would bring him to the hospital for sick children because of his emotional state.
Well, I wonder if she sheltered him and that's why he didn't have clear speech.
That could be.
That's sad.
He was sent to a private school but failed to make friends there.
Said he was bullied.
Yeah, by the age of 11, he was described as an angry little boy. Yeah, you can hear everything up there.
Well, yeah, if you can't
he was
talk about your problems or tell him that you're being bullied because he couldn't talk right.
He was slight in build. He had
No wonder
an
the guy
appearance.
snapped.
Bright and wide eyes, worried facial expression, and sometimes screwing up of his eyes. He walked briskly and erect.
Don't get me going. Bristly, huh? Okay.
Briskly and erect. He moves rapidly, darts ahead, interested, questioning, and constantly in conversation, attributes to wandering, so he's feeling nervous. He verbalizes he resents other children.
Because he was bullied. He probably didn't trust anyone.
He occasionally played with younger children, but managing to play with some his own age, he expresses ideas that are unacceptable and misunderstood. Oh.
It described as an angry little boy.
Yeah, he signs of his violent fantasies were presented at this time when a social worker walked in on him and Woodcock muttered, I wish a bomb would fall on the exhibit and kill the children. They were at a Canadian national exhibit. And Woodcock was sent to an emotionally disturbed school for children. And again, acting on his strong sexual urges. With other children. I guess.
Consensual intercourse with a 12-year-old?
Yeah. And yeah, when he was with the 12-year-old girl when he was 13, he turned 15. When he turned 15, he was discharged from the school and returned to live with his foster parents. But was soon re-enrolled was at his original high school, public high school, where of course, you know, they kept bullying him anyway. So he was transferred to another private high school and like 6 weeks later. But they still shunned him and his teachers remembered him. So they said he was a bright student. Always scored 100 on them tests. That's usually how it happens, though. There's also a movie about this, too.
Yeah, I like watching it, yeah.
Mask of Insanity.
Wait a minute, it says his favorite possession was a bike.
Yes.
And compulsive to wander. So he's always wandered around.
And he was sober.
Because he was young then.
Yeah. When he met 7-year-old Wayne Mallette, he lured a boy out of sight and then proceeded to strangle him to death. Mallette's body was found in the early hours of September 16th. It appeared that his clothing had been removed and then he had been redressed. His face pushed into the dirt. 2 bite marks found on his body. One on the boy's calf and the other on his buttock.
What?
There was no evidence of rape, however. Pennies were found scattered near the body. Woodcock had defecated next to the victim as well. Oh, he's a little strange. Toronto police initially arrested and interrogated another boy, Ron Moffat. Moffat? Through relentless questioning, they got a confession from a 14-year-old Moffat. Despite witnesses who placed him in a movie theater there before the murder of Wayne Millett, he was found guilty and sentenced to youth detention. Eventually, police acknowledged it was a serial predator in Toronto, but Moffat was not released. However, the notes were shared between the forces. Woodcock was arrested. After his conviction, Woodcock was called as a defense witness for Moffat. The wrongful murder charge was stayed in 1957. Moffat was released from custody. Nate Henley published 2018 account on Moffat's experience, The Boy on the Bicycle. The murder of Gary Morris. In 1956, Woodcock was riding his bike around Cabbagetown.
Did they really call a town cabbage? Okay. When he
picked up 9-year-old Gary Morris, he then drove the boy to Cherry Beach, where he strangled and beat him to death, with the coroner later determining that Morris had died from a ruptured liver. Morris's body was found with a bite mark on his throat. This time, paper clips seemed to have been ritualistically sprinkled near the corpse, and the clothing had been taken off the victim, and then he had been redressed. The murder of Carol Voice. Boy, this boy is on one.
Yeah.
1957. Woodcock was again riding his bike when he approached 4-year-old Carol Voice and offered her a ride on his bike, and drove her under the Bloor Viaduct and murdered her. When she was found, her clothes had been pulled off. It appeared that she had been choked into unconsciousness and sexually molested, and that her death was caused by a tree branch forcibly inserted in her vagina. Ugh. Okay, we're down to the apprehension and trial here. Witnesses saw a teenager cycling away from Carol Voice's crime scene in accurate composite sex. It's the sketch. A composite sketch was created based on those witness descriptions. The sketch ran from the page of the Toronto Star and would lead to Woodcock's arrest in 1957. His subsequent confession to all 3 murders, he recalled upon his arrest, "My fear was that my mother would find out." Really? His mother would find out. That was my biggest fear. I didn't know if the police would let her at me. Woodcock was tried for only the murder of Carol Voice on.
So his mom had a big impact on him then.
Apparently so. And that was in 1957. After a 4-day trial, he was found not guilty by reason of insanity. Was sent to Oak Ridge Division, Maximum Security, Mental Health Center. We're up to his imprisonment. He's different. So he was diagnosed as a psychopath. And they did a lot of psychiatric therapy, including LSD treatments, which were popular in the 60s. Personality breaking drugs. It was subject to dyads, personality breaking therapy, in which inmates challenged each other's belief systems, which inmates offered the 100-day Hayden. Dyads were developed in the late 1950s, early 60s, by a Harvard psychologist and former CIA interrogation expert. He did not respond well. He engaged in coerced sexual acts that exploited his fellow inmates who were less intelligent or less sane than he was. He convinced inmates that he had contact with an imaginary gang called the Brotherhood. On the outside...
He called the Motherhood.
And that in order to be initiated, inmates had to perform oral sex on him and give him gifts of cigarettes. Wow.
So he scared the bejeebers out of the people in there too.
Apparently so.
It's that glare he's got.
Yeah, he's got like that little nerdy look, but yeah, you gotta look past that. He looks like a Kruger, though. He looks like a Kruger. He don't look like a a woodcock. He looks, well, I guess he does now, but. Whew.
He definitely had mommy issues.
I mean, yeah, definitely mommy issues. He was eventually transferred to a less restrictive institution. And his staff indulged his passion for trains by taking him to the Railway Museum and even looked to the Silence of the Lambs. They took him to see that. Think that was
Okay,
smart?
take a murder, see
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs.
That makes sense.
During this time, he legally changed his name to David Michael Kruger and rekindled a relationship with Bruce Hamill. He was an Ottawa killer who had been released from Oak Ridge and was working as a security guard at the courthouse. Kruger convinced Hamill an alien brotherhood would solve his problems if he helped kill another Brockville inmate, Dennis Kerr. This is crazy. This dude's like the mask of sanity. That's, yeah, that fits him good. I'm gonna have to watch that.
I'm not finding any other pictures on him.
Well, would you want more pictures of him?
Yeah, I want to see how crazy he looked when he got older.
Oh.
Because that's a shot when he was younger.
We're up to the murder of Dennis Kerr now. So, in 1991, Bruce Hamill went to the hardware store and bought a plumber's wrench, a hatchet, knives, and a sleeping bag. Sleeping bag.
He's gonna camp out after.
Well, he's gonna stuff the body in the sleeping bag, I would imagine. I don't know. Maybe he's gonna sleep with it in there. Who knows? I mean, these people do crazy shit. Bundy did that. He would like do stuff to the people after he. And then went to the Brockville Hospital, signed out the 52-year-old Kruger on his first publicity escorted day pass. Within the first hour for his first unsupervised release in 34 years, Kruger arranged to meet Dennis Kerr in the woods. When Dennis Kerr arrived, Kruger struck him in the head with the pipe, continued to beat him until unconsciousness. Kruger and Hamill then seized the hatchet and knife, and they had hidden in the bushes while waiting for Kerr's arrival, and hacked and stabbed Kerr, mutilating his body, nearly severing his head, and sodomizing the corpse.
Oh.
Kruger then left the scene, walked to the police station about 2 miles away, and turned himself in. For the murder, Dennis Kerr was transferred back to the Oak Ridge Mental Health Care, where he has spent his majority of his 34 years in custody. And the years after Kerr's murder, he was the focus of a biography and several documentary films. Oh my god.
That looks like the.
He
murder.
looks like a pedophile.
Mhm.
And sometimes try to explain why he killed, but never came up with the rational reasons. He said in a 1993 interview, "I'm accused of having no morality, which is a fair assessment.
Wow.
Because of my morality is whatever the system allows." On March 5th, 2010, on his 71st birthday, Kruger died of natural causes. And he has a movie out called The Mask of Sanity. Yeah. I'm going to have to watch that.
They do have a few pictures online.
Look at, he's kind of younger there.
Yeah. He looks like your normal Pee Wee Herman, and then he goes to this devil look.
He's got his
and
mouth
then-
open. Then there's that
And
one.
when he's older, he looks like a true pedophile.
Oh my
Now
god.
I'm not sure.
It says age. Wow. You guys would have to... Ooh.
Yeah.
He
You
don't
have to
look-
look up pictures of this fella.
Yeah, you guys would definitely have to look up pictures of him. He's a piece of work.
He's got some crazy eyes there. That smile there looks like he just killed someone.
That's an insanity smile.
It's that Jim. Yeah.
That's a crazy smile. Like he
mask.
Jim Carrey
gets that really weird look. Yeah. Look this fella up.
Yeah. He's the youngest serial killer though. Like from Canada.
But again, he has.
So he was born in.
He was abused.
Oh my gosh!
Bullied.
He was born.
He had a mommy issue.
He was born March 5th, 1935, and died March 5th, 2010. He was born and died on his.
On the same day.
You said that at the beginning. It just dawned on you.
Yeah, it just dawned on me that was the same bird, same day.
Silly women tricks are for kids.
Wow, that's like 1 in a million.
That don't happen that often.
No.
Not at all. Oh, wrong one again.
Yeah, those are the only pictures I can find.
Yeah, he was.
He looks like a real piece of work. I like to see what his mom looked like because she probably has some characters too. Here we go. His mom looks like a fucking witch. Look at that face.
She has red hair.
But look at that face.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No wonder he had mommy issues.
Mommy dearest.
Holy mother, she didn't look nice. This poor guy. No wonder he's picked on though. He looks like an easy target. I'm trying to find most recent. I guess this is the most recent.
Yeah.
He looks awful comfortable in the whack jobbing home there.
He probably just got through.
Okay, here you go. He was on Crimes in Canada.
Crimes in Canada.
Yeah, it must be a show over there.
Well, they got a lot of them.
Canadian's youngest serial killer. He's also got a book. Pictures of the victims. Oh my.
He's definitely, yeah, he started pretty early doing that. But I guess like maybe because he was moving around so much, he was bullied a lot.
That's not an excuse to rape
Well, that's
someone
true.
at 12 years old.
That's true.
His mom looks like a real piece of work. So, where is... He's on a couple of shows. I don't see anywhere where anyone interviewed him.
It's set in they did some documentaries on him.
Yeah, that's that Canadian.
Let's see.
It says in his late teens.
Yes.
Some Canadian channel. And then on Amazon you can get the book. And who's that? Some he's on True Crimes, of course.
But it said they did some documentary on him.
Did anyone ask for anyone for next time?
We have someone that, if you just joined us, PRPHKVZBD or ZB. Do you have any questions? Because I know some are joining us. This one just joined us. Do you have anybody you want us to do? Or any of you guys?
Usually I can find.
Mind of a Murderer, yes. I'm probably going to try and watch that.
Yeah, it was on a few different shows. I don't think we can get this one from the Canadian channel thing, but there is a YouTube, and he is on Teen Serial Killers.
Yes. True Crime Fridays.
And this one, he looks like the average Joe. Who would have thought?
Yeah, he's on Killer Kids, Psychopathic Killers. And the discuss of his... Oh.
And something called Canadian Nightmares, the horrifying...
Yes, he is the Beast of the Bastille in France.
So, it looks like he's been done over and over.
Discusses the 3 young murders, I'm sorry. Guy Ramplant, a.k.a. Guy Georges, that's the Beast of Bastille. My bad. And then Mary Flora Bell in England. So they put them all together and made it sound like it was this one kid. It's like, that didn't make any sense. He went from France.
Somebody...
But Peter Woodcock is definitely,
named Mark Warrior.
Well, that's, having that name alone...
Yeah.
Probably got him bullied.
Well, that's probably why he did, Krueger. But then there was, like, Freddy Krueger come along.
Here's pictures of his home and his school. I really can't find any in between. It's either...
Do they have the death penalty in
Canada?
Yeah. I wonder if they had a death penalty in Canada.
Hang on, I'll find out.
That's kind of curious. But if you're like under the age of 17, they can't give you the death penalty.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Supposing he was 18 years old. I'm just wondering, do they have the death penalty?
No.
Wow.
They do not have the death penalty.
I think Ohio does.
Yeah. It was abolished in 98. Last execution was December 62.
Yeah.
What's this? Supreme Court has held a mandatory minimum of 25 years without parole for the first-degree murder and not considered cruel or unusual punishment. Right here, last execution was Toronto's Don. Is that really his last name? Jail? In 62. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have it.
They haven't done anything since 2018, though, for death penalty. There are 113 inmates in death row in Ohio.
Wow.
Last execution was 2018. And they do lethal injection.
Was it?
Huh?
Does it say who it was?
Oh, let me ask.
Wasn't Eileen. My girl didn't get killed there.
She was in 2002.
this? Confection. That's not it. Okay, so
Robert J. Van Hook on July 18, 2018. He was sentenced to death in 1985 for the murder of a 25-year-old David Self in Cincinnati. His case was notable for his failed use of the homosexual panic defense. He was executed by lethal injection in the Southern Ohio Correction Facility in Lucasville. And this says people are still being executed. Still being sent to death row. But, they can be on death row for like 30 years or more. And that's crazy. They should only get like so many chances to be done. Like, you're spending like 30 years on death row. You might as well just sentence them to 30 years and then call it a day.
Says United States has it higher violent than Canada. I was curious. Ours are more firearm related.
Yeah.
Wow. Here's the statistics. Move to Canada if you don't want to be in any crime.
Ohio's three-strike law. I think they have that in Ohio. Oh, Ohio does not have this three-strike law. We do, however, have a sentencing enhancements for major drug offenders and repeat violent offenders. Well, if that was the case,
there.
Ohio, like half of the people in Ohio would be in prison right now for 3 strikes. 3 strikes, they all be lifers, man.
Yeah, I'll be out.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this fellow.
Because 3 strikes, that mandates life imprisonment for a 3rd strike. Yep. Yeah, because you're a menace to society, basically. Well, there's a lot of people menace to society that are out. But the 3-strike law, though, is murder, manslaughter, other involuntary manslaughter, assault with intent to commit murder, assault with intent to commit rape, sexual abuse aggravated. Wow, there's a lot. Sexual abuse, abusive sexual contact, kidnapping, aircraft piracy. Wow. Robbery, carjacking, extortion, arson, illegal firearms use. Wow. They count that as a strike? I didn't think that was like that. There's like a misdemeanor or something. Well, no, maybe not, because illegal firearms. No, that wouldn't be a misdemeanor on that. Illegal firearm possession. Attempt, conspiracy, or solicitation to commit of any of these criminal offenses. Wow. Any other or maximum term of 10 years or more. That's just crazy. But I guess 3 strikes law, that's what it is for serious felonies. It ain't like something like, theft or anything like that. You have to really do some really crazy stuff. Well, carjacking, I guess that would be, yeah.
Boy, they pumped him up with all kinds of stuff trying to prove that he was
Insane.
insane.
Oh, yeah. We also have another one I just entered too. Everton H. Do you have anybody you want us to do? If you just got here, we did Peter Woodcock, and now he is David Michael Krusner. He was known as a Canadian serial killer and child rapist and diagnosed as a psychopath. He has a movie. There's a movie on him called The Mind of a Murderer. It's called Mask of Insanity. That'd be something to. I'm gonna try and watch that. But this guy doesn't really have too much on him, though. Like, we don't have a lot of
Well, because of the
information on
time
him.
frame. Because they don't have a lot.
But it is
background.
interesting how he was born March 5th and died on March 5th, though. Kind of impressed by that.
Oh. What was the next one?
What's that? How to Catch a Murderer? That's what it says right there, How to Catch a Murderer.
I'm trying to figure it out.
Canada does not have a death penalty.
No, I wonder how many prisons they have then.
Oh,
If they don't put anybody up, or do they ship them out of the United States?
I don't know. That's a good question. The United States will take care of him. They'll just execute the dude. It would be interesting if he was still alive. He'd be like...
They got 43 federal correctional institutes. That's a lot for Canada's not that big.
Well, maybe every
So
time
it's
you
their
turn down a corner,
population.
there's a...
Yeah, it'd be like us having Dollar General stores. So
I
they
was
have
just gonna
prisons
say
like
that.
that.
A lot of prisons going up.
It's like, yeah, it says
Instead of nursing
43.
homes, they're all correction officers down there.
And not, you're hole in the walls. These are 43 federal.
Oh, those are federal.
Yeah, federal
They
correctional
ain't playing
institutes.
down there.
No. So it's not a...
Well, apparently they weren't doing him no good. He just kept going to psych places, though.
Yeah, but he was
He's a
declared
little...
a psychopath
Yeah,
from
that's
the
why I said
get-go,
he's-
so they're not going to waste their time with him.
I
Whereas
don't know
if he was
would
over
last in a
here,
federal.
I don't think he would have got away with this much.
That's true. I don't even think they would have even done that before with him.
Because they don't play like that. But yeah, 43 is quite a few. 12 multi-level security places out of the
How many
43. 6
seconds?
maximum, 9 medium, 5 medium, and 12 multi-level security places.
Well, that's messed up. How many psych wards they got down there? Because they seem to send him to almost all of them.
That's a lot. How much jail?
Does anybody have anything else they want to say, or do you guys have anybody you want us to talk about next time? Our next one then, since nobody really has...
He said something, I forgot what it was, and I looked it up. It was pretty interesting. I couldn't tell you.
Alyssa Bustamante. She's 15, and in 2009 she killed her 9-year-old neighbor. She's from Missouri, USA. That should be an interesting one.
She killed a 9-year-old?
She killed her 9-year-old neighbor. Let's see. Let's go and look her up before we get out of here.
That's awful. Why is this being difficult?
The murder of Elizabeth Olson.
That's crazy.
Yes.
9 years old.
She was 9 years old.
My head hurts.
She lured her into the woods. So this should be an interesting one.
Years old though.
So
It's awful.
15.
So she only killed one person though?
One person.
Don't tell me too much. I want to know.
So that will be done on May 17th.
Mm-mm.
No, I'm sorry.
Mm-mm.
We can't do that. We'll have to do that on
We'll have to do it like earlier that week.
We'll have to do it on when you work Friday. Oh, Saturday, Sunday. So we'll have to do it like on a Tuesday. You work Tuesday, don't you?
Mm-hmm. But not till 11.
Okay, maybe we'll do it on a Tuesday. It would have to be around like 4 because we had 5. 5?
No, because I laid down it. So it's got to be before 6.
Okay, so 4.
Yeah, 4.
So we'll do it Tuesday. Yeah, because we goes by. Okay, yeah. So it'd be Tuesday, May 11th. Yeah, May 11th. Tuesday at 5 or 4. Okay. If anything changes, just go onto our website. Here you go inside the Minds of Serial Killers or K.A. Blasner. It's the same thing, and we'll, if we have to change it, we will. We'll see everybody later. Thanks for listening.